If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
do you write women so well?
I think of a man, and I take away reason and accountability.
But what is so important about driving faster than anyone else?
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing's important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
If like I wasn't a feminist, I don't know what I would be, if that makes sense. Like I don't really have like that's just all I know, I guess. And I guess I haven't really educated
That actually
myself.
makes sense.
You know what I mean?
Feminism is basically the air that we breathe, and it's the water we swim in, whether people know it or not. It's ingratiated in society. So you may not have any other position other than that. So if you say, I really don't know anything besides feminism, I believe you.
Thank you.
It's mainstream. Do you guys believe in the patriarchy?
But it's still a bad position. It's still like what you
fine.
just saying.
And what is that? So what is the patriarchy?
It's patriarchy's when like men rule, right?
Mostly, right?
Men rule, women drool. Wait, what? Okay, that's it.
No, that was my fault.
Say it. Can you say the patriarchy is awesome?
It's not bad. It's not bad.
The patriarchy is awesome.
That one, that's for you, Good One Motorsports.
Target acquired.
Eagle 1, first strike. You have permission to engage the target.
Warning. The following video contains explicit language, which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
That's right. Mature audiences only, at least in age. You can be, an immature adult, I guess. Forgot to change glasses there, guys, to kill the glare a little bit. Studio lighting, am I right? All right. All right. PKFRX, I too am a new pilot, I actually still need to get my PPL, and really I only lack the written test and the check ride at this point. What a great day it is today. It's Monday. It's been a great weekend. I managed to get on a bunch of panels. Well, not a bunch of panels, but I was on a panel a bunch this weekend, and it's been great. It's been really great. Bully, I said in age, not necessarily mentality. I did say that covers you, brother. That covers you. What a weekend. What a weekend we're coming out of. It's been great. We got some really interesting and exciting things moving forward for the week. Should have a really special guest on Wednesday evening, and Wednesday afternoon I will be live with Clover Tack on his channel, and we're going to talk guns, and more guns. So that'll be great. Kevin, it is a very militant background. It's I don't know, it's just a bunch of competition guns. That's what I do, and some body armor. What it's not that big a deal. Don't worry about it. It's cool. It's been like I said, it's been actually a really great weekend. I hope everybody else had fun. I had actually really a good time this weekend, and hopefully Kat will wander along. I don't know what Kat has going on today. I didn't actually talk to her. I just sent her the link. I don't know if she's paying any attention to anything, because she's a cat. So she's a cat person. So anybody got any like really burning topics? Go ahead, think about them, organize your thoughts, and we'll talk about them here in a few minutes. Right now, I'm going to lead off with a couple of things. So I was on a panel yesterday with Glenn, and Glenn Lawrence, Mr. Glenn Lawrence, legendary guy, actually. I think he's all right. He's a good guy. And so I was on this panel with him, and it was actually a really good panel. We had really great discussion. Stand by. Quick gun question: do I own any Wild West guns like a Colt single action Army? I no longer own a true single action Army. I own two 22 caliber clones of the single action Army. One's a Ruger, one is an EAA, which is an Italian gun. And then I have a Ruger Vaquero, which is in 44 Magnum, which is a cowboy gun, but in 44 Magnum. And I have a Henry lever action 22 rifle. I used to have a 30 lever action. I have no idea what happened to that thing. It's been gone a long time. I think I had that in high school, so it's like 30 years ago. And then I had I also had a 38 357 lever action rifle as well. So I had a few cowboy guns. I'm not really a cowboy gun guy. So Glenn probably will pop in. I think he's had some sleep by now. I'm not really sure. He might just be topping off whatever concoction of drugs he uses to stay alert and mobile. Kat is now joining us. There she is. She heard me take her name, not in vain, obviously, but she heard me talking about her, and there she came in. Great. Awesome. It's been a really good weekend, guys. Couple of things that were really interesting. So I was on that panel yesterday with Glenn, and it was great. And of course, I had to leave. I had a commitment. I wasn't actually intending to stream at all yesterday. I don't normally stream on Sunday. Sunday is kind of family day, but got kind of a hall pass from my wife to stream, and and then I had to take the youngsters to do various youngster things. So that worked out. But one of the interesting things is that we had Grace Thorpe on again. I don't know that she added anything to the panel. But what she did add was she brought in a plant. I had to rewatch it to make sure, because I left while they were still kind of going. And this guy came in. Obviously, he was immediately gunning for me. And I originally thought it was just something maybe I had said or did, but no, when I watch it, it's pretty clear that he comes in right with Grace. As soon as I leave, he leaves. Didn't even say bye. Didn't even say, fuck you guys, I'm out of here. So it's very interesting, and I thought it was very funny. He never did actually set up to have hand-to-hand combat with me, or go get his ass trounced in my specific sport. So thought it was funny though. It's interesting how fake people are and how they do things just for content. I mean, literally just talk out of their ass just for content. None of it's real. Honestly, I can't swear to anything, but if anybody ever catches me doing anything just for content, call me on it, and I will promptly be, parboiled by someone. Anyway, Kat, you were on the panel yesterday with Miss Grace. What did you think of the legendary, in a bad way?
I refused to go on until she left.
Did you really? Win. That's a W. That's a W for Kat. Kat, you get a W for that. That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, so I actually did not want to be on the panel with Based Oracle, BO. I didn't want to be on with BO, not because I have any problem with BO personally. I don't have any problem with him at all, to be honest. I just didn't, because when I tend to be there, he tends to kind of come at me about the Andrew stuff, and then I just give it back to him. I return energy with energy. So, and I didn't feel like that would benefit anyone. Plus, it just gives him, a little bit of opportunity to do whatever he is doing with Andrew. So I just didn't want to feed into it. I did, however, last night when I got home, I caught that he was on, and he and I agree on so much of the things he says it's really good stuff. I have no idea what his problem with Andrew is, and I feel like that. I hope those guys once Andrew beats his ass in debate, I hope they can go back to being friends. Morning or afternoon, depending on where you're at. Angel Berber. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Angel Berber. Good. How are you, sir? Don't get Cat. Yeah, Cat did exactly the right thing. Don't give the Thorpes any attention whatsoever. They're complete fakes. Literally everything they do is strictly for YouTube content. And I 100% believe that they are shacked up together in that RV. 100%. Ben was on with Glenn or somebody. Maybe it was Easy. Glenn was on, or not Glenn. Ben was on, and I happened to notice that he was in an RV. So I kept in the chat, I was like, tell Ben to roll over and smack Grace on the head. We'd rather see her than him. But that was nobody responded to that. Just me. Just whatever. So really good weekend as far as streaming goes. It really was actually pretty cool to be on Glenn's panel yesterday. Although some of the subject matter is really weird. It seemed like every time we tried to talk about men and how men can be better, a couple of the panelists, I'm not going to call anybody out directly, but a couple of the panelists would immediately go back to women are the problem. And while women are certainly part of the problem, I really don't feel like they are the problem. I feel like that women have their own problems, and they have a lot of them. But men also, men have failed to be good leaders to other men, which means that those men are not leaders, and which means that we have problems that we have today. So, all right. And so that was kind of a overtone of the weekend. Whatever last night was horrible. Bunch of whores. I don't know what barrel they scraped to get those folks out of, but they should have left them there, because that was horrible, man. Like, it was ugly. It was nothing but ugly. Kat, do you have any input before I go on a tirade?
I did not get to see it. I only saw some of the introductions, and it looked kind of bad, but I don't know. But it looked like it was going to be kind of trashy.
Trashy is excellent word usage. Excellent, truly excellent word usage. Trashy is kind of exactly what it was. It was very interesting because with just on looks alone, there wasn't anything better than a 4. Just on looks alone. I mean, you have to look. The panel is busted when Brian is the prettiest person at the table. You know what I'm saying? Because Brian's not a pretty man. He's not. Gay dudes pass Brian by all the time. But it was bad last night. It was terrible. I was like, holy crap, what happened? But it was rough. And then the black chick that wanted to be Storm from the X-Men, she had the Band-Aid on. Or Leilu, the culturally appropriated Leilu from Fifth Element. She was bad, man. I tell you what, that girl wanted Q in the worst way. if I Q probably needed armed security to exit there to keep his manhood intact because she wanted a piece of his meat, guaranteed. And she even had that like slip of the tongue where she's like, he called him cute or whatever. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's it. That's what happens. And so whatever was terrible to watch. I went to bed early. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, this is so busted. Even Andrew can't save this. Although Andrew did, the few minutes I saw of Andrew on there, yeah, Max K, that was no slip when she said that she thought he was cute. She wants a piece of his meat. I'm telling you, she wanted it broken off, and you know, she was simping hard for the Q pill, which is, whatever. And then the chick in the pink. Well, I know everybody wants to talk about it. Well, I'll get to the chick in the pink. So we had the chicks that in Alabama would be considered not even trailer trash. I mean, they'd be like terrible. Like they were Alabama 2s. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just disgusting women. They were like crazy. The one girl was a literal escort, apparently. That means whore. That means whore. And it was crazy the things that she was saying. And then you had the girl in the blue wig. What was that all about? Was that a dude? Was I being trolled? Was that a dude? I mean, I tuned out before I could figure anything out. Was that a dude? Somebody just tell me. Kat's just shaking her head like, I don't know. It could have been. Who knows these days? But the 2 star attractions were the red flowered shirt psycho and the black shirt witch psycho. Those 2, we had psycho bookends last night. Like there's enough emotional damage in that room on that night to keep 5 psychiatrists employed for the next 30 years. Just telling you. And yeah. Hey guys, I actually can't pay much attention to the chat itself. It does move quickly, and I have that kind of minimized on my screen. So if you want me to read or interact directly, unfortunately you're gonna have to super chat. Don't do that if you can't afford it. Grab one of the mods, maybe they can throw something up there for you. But otherwise, I gotta focus on other stuff. So anyway, sorry guys. Anyway, yeah, but so then you had the plain Jane girl, which I don't even know why she was there. What was she anyway? The dark haired girl that said like 4 things the whole time I was on. I mean, granted, I dipped out at like 8 or 9 o'clock last night because I was tired. But Kat, go ahead. You don't have to raise your hand. You can just speak.
No, I'm trying to find out which was the girl that said $500K a year and up.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I didn't hear that part. I'd be dining out on that for a month. So, $500K a year. Damn,
is it the really white girl with the black low top?
Well, she'd been married 10 years. She was the one that was going out and finding chicks for her husband to bang, and she had to get drunk to do it. Like, what? How fucking mentally damaged are you? What is going on there? The chick needs an intervention. Well, not now, because she split up from the guy and told him to go his own fucking way. But apparently, she still interacts with him. Fake Korean chick. Well, you can only do Korean barbecue so many ways. And now we'll talk about the fake ass pink girl, pink sweater, top, whatever the fuck that thing was. Andrew, she thought she was going to have an easy night. She thought she was just going to roll through there and giggle and laugh. But oh no, Andrew makes it on. In the first 5 minutes that Andrew was on, he roasted her thoroughly. And apparently it just kept going. Again, I left, but Andrew apparently roasted her fairly thoroughly. And it was quite interesting. It's quite interesting. So if anybody, but I did not watch the whole show. I couldn't take it. Even with Andrew being there, I couldn't take it. Even Andrew couldn't save it for me. But I do want to say that Andrew's haircut is fabulous. You know, it's not often that you see him without his hat, but Brian made him take his hat off last night. And girls, I understand you simping for Andrew. I get it. But don't do it. He's a married man. He's Christian. He's a good guy. But so I don't have, I don't have enough hair to really style up top anymore. So I just have the one style I can pull off, and that's all I get. So I have to admire other men's haircuts from afar because I can't do it myself. So it's a little projection. I think that's what it's called, projection. Come on, Kat, help me out here.
I don't know. I didn't even notice he uses a hat.
You didn't notice he wears a hat? He wears a Crucible hat all the time.
No.
You don't watch Andrew, do you?
I do. I watch all the time, but I'm not looking at his hair and his hat.
You turned it off because you're scared of looking at him, don't you? Aren't you? You minimize the screen and just listen to it?
No, I listen to what he says.
Maybe he's awake by now. Let's see if I can get Andrew on.
Oh, God.
I'm kidding. That was funny. That was quite entertaining. Kat, why don't you go on whatever?
I'm not going to California, number one. I might go on Fresh and Fit because it's close by, but like, why?
No, you're too nice to go on Fresh and Fit. Don't do that.
I think for whatever too. It's like it's the same as Fresh and Fit. It's just California versus Miami version.
No. You have an entirely different class of hooker in California. So you're too nice. You're too nice to go on Fresh and Fit. The interesting thing is that all of them and Pink Sweater Girl and Black Top Girl, the witch or whatever she was talking about, it was so much nonsense. Like, at what point were they going to talk about something that mattered? That's again why I went to sleep. But so yeah. All right. So whatever was whatever last night, and I went to bed. It just wasn't entertaining enough, which is unusual because usually there's at least one person that stands out as being somebody that's imminently roastable. But the whole panel was just busted last night. It was just terrible. But I feel bad for Brian. I feel bad for him because he had such a win panel last week with Rachel and those the harlots that were on there. Such a win. I mean, there was so much potential there. They maximized that potential. It was a great show. And then I guess this week he had to scrape the bottom of the barrel for the dregs. He's got to get fresh victims in. I mean, girls in, and yeah. So, what did you think overall of what Andrew was saying last night to the girl, especially when she was talking about what was it? She was saying something about how she hated the way men treated women and lied and all of this, and then Andrew called her out. I was like, isn't that horrible? Isn't that terrible that you were lied to or whatever? I forget what it was.
I did not watch when Andrew got on, I admit. I didn't have time. I was busy.
I noticed that Clover Tack has made it into the house. Clover Tack, I've already told everybody that I will be on your show Wednesday in this time slot. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Truly great. I also put it up on my Facebook, which does anybody ever even use Facebook anymore? Kat, do you use Facebook? You don't, do you?
Who
do
does
you use any social media?
Like post or watch?
What I'm just use. Do you use any social media?
Yeah. I like to scroll on TikTok.
Okay. You gotta go. I'm just kidding. What's with TikTok? TikTok is like, I can't even.
TikTok is chaos. I love it.
TikTok is, and I do want to do the TikTok invasions with Andrew. Unfortunately, he does that the night I'm doing my show. I'm gonna have to do something about the Saturday night show. I'm gonna have to like cut it off early or start earlier or something. Or maybe I can go do the TikTok invasion with Andrew while I'm doing this show. We'll have an inception. We'll have like streams upon streams upon streams going places. I really want to do the TikTok invasion because, man, did he have a good one this weekend. So the TikTok invasion on Saturday was like way cooler than whatever on Sunday. He had this guy. Did you see where they're talking about the reparations?
No.
Oh, you've got to watch it. It is legit crazy town. Crazy. But okay, I digress. So TikTok, you do TikTok. What else you do? Bumble.
I mean, I watch YouTube videos. I watch.
YouTube, okay, so
yeah.
Okay, so TikTok, YouTube.
I haven't been on Facebook so long. The app deleted itself.
Nice.
And probably
only old people like me use Facebook anymore. Keep up with our grandkids.
Yeah, but they don't even post anymore. It's the same like sad people.
For me, all Facebook is all my gun friends post shit. Like that's all it's. I went to this competition, great. And they post videos and shit, and that's it. And my race car guys. That's it. Kat, you gotta start watching Clover Tack. I think you hurt his feelings. He had two feelings left, and you just hurt one of them. He had two whole feelings left. Do you know how rare that is for a man in our age bracket to have any feelings left? Because by now most of them have been tromped on by women. So I have one feeling left. I know right where it is. Nobody's going to get to it. Andrew was and it was late in the stream because I logged off at I logged out of this stream at like 11:30 or 12 o'clock, about an hour after Kat called it night. And I went over to watch the TikTok invasions, and I tried to get on, but Andrew was in it to win it with these guys on reparations. So I think it's probably in like the 2 or 3 hour mark in the TikTok invasion. But dude, it's so crazy. So you don't do Facebook. Do you do Instagram?
I have it, but I only share like conspiracy memes.
Conspiracy memes?
Yes.
So if we pulled up your Instagram right now, there'd be no bikini pics, no beach shots.
No.
We wouldn't see you walking down the boardwalk in a thong or something like that.
Ugh, no.
Okay, good. That's good. That's good.
Just conspiracy memes.
I don't think my wife has any social media at all except for LinkedIn and Facebook and WeChat. And it's all just communicate with professional people. She doesn't even use Facebook. She uses Facebook Messenger. She doesn't even do anything on Facebook. And WeChat, which is Chinese. I think there's another Chinese messaging service that she uses that is in like Chinese. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, who is Alex J? Alex Jones?
Yeah.
Is that who is Alex Jones? I've heard the name. I don't know who that is.
What?
I'm not a conspiracy theorist, Kat.
Okay,
I
well,
live in the real world.
This is the real world.
When I talk about schemes, plans, and deceptive acts, they're fucking real.
Well, I mean, most of what he said turned out to be real. So
The frogs being gay was real.
yeah, that's real. There's
That's
actual
real?
scientific studies on it. Yes.
But they're gay frogs?
It turned male frogs into female frogs that had eggs and could reproduce.
Well, that's not being gay, though.
It's not technically. It's just switching genders. Maybe they turned the frogs trans. But actually trans, but it works. No?
Fucking reptiles. Fucking reptiles. All right, so that's all interesting. Well, keep going. You can't just stop.
I don't know. Okay.
Keep rolling. Keep rolling. Keep rolling.
I don't know. Let's see. I don't know what else he did. He just screams a lot. Oh, he says that there's demons everywhere, so I like him. He's just hilarious.
How often do you go to church, Kat?
I do not. I know. It's a thing.
Huh. Okay.
I'm not claiming to be some super uber.
You're non-denominational, aren't you?
Probably. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Favorite conspiracy theory, non-demon related. That's very limiting, but let's see.
It's all about the demons. The demons are everywhere.
I mean, I don't even think they're conspiracy theories anymore. I just think, I don't know. Did you hear about
what about the deep state?
Yeah, that's a thing. Did you hear about the new president in New York is not really Mexican?
The new president in
I'm
New York?
sorry, the new president of Mexico. I'm confused, whatever. It's too early. But
no, I didn't hear that. You need more coffee, Kat. Drink some coffee.
I know. Hold on.
Is that like an Inca bowl?
What's that? This is just a coffee cup. A ginormous coffee cup.
It's a really large coffee cup.
I know. That's how much.
That or you're really small. One of the two.
Both can be true.
Both can be true.
Yeah. When I was in Taiwan, random strangers would come up to me and ask me why my head was so small.
You were where?
In Taiwan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
I'm getting an education today, guys. This is awesome. This is great. My favorite conspiracy theory is the moon landing was fake.
Oh, for sure it was. It's not a conspiracy. That's fact.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
What about the conspiracy that the Twin Towers, the guy who owned the building got an insurance policy a couple days before it went down and made sure all of his family members had doctor's appointments that day or something like that?
I don't know. I hadn't actually heard that one.
Yep. Well, that's one. Let's see. What's another good one? Does anybody know any good conspiracy theories? Oh, flat Earth. I don't know about that.
Flat Earth is not a thing. I've been up really high, and the Earth is round. The Earth is round.
But also, the conspiracy theory that all the lottos are just money laundering for the CIA or other government organizations.
Interesting.
So whenever there's a big win, whatever, it's usually someone who's funneling it to one of these agencies. And then the agency will announce, we got this much money. And it's exactly the same as the lotto. I mean, it's a great plan.
It would be, except, there are people out there who have actually won the lotto.
Yeah, throw them a bone here and there.
Throw them a bone.
Make it look realistic.
Well, it could be the taxes alone off of that. It could be. I mean, actually, Clover makes a great point. It could just be that's why only irresponsible people win.
Yeah. This is true. I know people who've won the lottery, but it's never been the full amount. So, I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, taxes on winnings is ridiculous.
No, like if they don't get all the numbers, they get maybe like almost all the numbers. So they win like 50, 100,000 or something like that.
That's very interesting. Not like super interesting, so I'm going to change the subject.
Okay.
So. That's great. That's great. How about, did you watch the whatever with Bevo, whatever the fuck his name is?
Yeah. I saw the whole thing where he said it was
Yeah.
fake. And then in the same vein, he said he had to say that because I think his family found out what he did or something and he got embarrassed.
Yeah.
That's fake.
What do you think about all of the rebuttals and everything against him? Apparently he's gotten quite a bit of feedback on this.
Oh, no, for sure. He went in thinking he could be cool and say that stuff and he'd go viral and get something out of it. And then everything turned against him. Everybody mocked him and probably sent it to his family. His family shamed him and were embarrassed. And he got embarrassed and he tried to do damage.
Do you think
control.
he was making it up, or do you think
Yeah, for sure.
You think so?
Oh,
I think it's more likely
thing?
that he actually, I think it's more likely that he was being very truthful.
Are you talking about Brian asking him to live to spice up the show, or him saying he was?
Yeah. Talking about Brian lying and to spice up the show, and then then he comes back. He came back in after he left and says he didn't do it. That it was all a prank. He got us. Blah blah blah. All this kind of nonsense. And then he makes that ridiculous video with him in the Burberry fucking girls' clothes. He makes that ridiculous video saying that his family found out, now he's in deep water with them, and he just wants everybody to know that he doesn't actually sell his girlfriend for profit. But I think he does. I think he was being 100% honest on whatever, right up until the point that Andrew just kept calling him a cuck and just kept on and kept on and kept on. And finally, he just couldn't take it anymore. And because he knows the truth, right? Like, look, if it's a lie, if you're going along with a lie, somebody's just like, yeah, you cut. And everyone's like, yeah, whatever. Like me, people call me, an old, dumbass all the time. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Sure. Okay, cool. But, he got mad because he got kicked out. He came back in, thought he was going to be cool. And now the blowback, I think, has been tremendous. And it's actually probably affecting his entire lifestyle. And which is what happens. So I think that this idea of the social media going viral, and that's why I have no desire to really go viral. Right. Like I would rather just make a good show and people that watch me. And if you find what I do entertaining, great. And if you don't, fucking doors over there, get the fuck out. But these guys and these girls are all about going viral, and they will say or do anything. And it's crazy the consequences that can happen. And so they do, let's say they do go viral, right? What happens when people believe that shit, right? Like Grace Thorpe. I mean, Grace Thorpe went viral in the worst possible way. So, I don't know. I think there's a danger in social media this way.
I mean, I don't care.
I know you don't care. I don't care. I just think it's interesting to talk about.
Like who cares if you go viral? 90% of the people in the real world will never see it, even if you went viral.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing because there's no way I would. There's look, if you're going to do the kind of that kind of work, right? Like, and we've seen this on whatever, we've seen this on Fresh and Fit, we've seen this on other podcasts where women that actually do that kind of work, they go in and go, yeah, it's what I do. So what? And then they don't, and they face whatever blowback it is, and then that's fine. It's the ones that I think are trying to go viral that have such a, they're trying to go from like, what was A list or B list to A list, and they think that going viral is going to get them to A list, but what it does is it pops them up and then it immediately rockets them to the bottom, and all of the gains that they might have made are gone, So I think it's an interesting dynamic watching all of because I've been watching people, go viral. I've been watching people talk about nonsense and just do ridiculous things and say ridiculous things that I don't think they believe. And on both sides of that, I'm not saying it's just the fucking whores and harlots that do it. I'm talking about like, like even people that would be, we would consider on the right or based or whatever, whatever you want to say. We see that happen too, where they go out and they get a viral clip that rockets them up, and then of course they can't hold up under that scrutiny, and then the next thing you know, we never hear from them again. They just go away or whatever. And it's I believe that I just find the viral thing is very interesting, and I believe that it's kind of warped. I think it's really, I don't always think it's a great thing. I think it's kind of bullshit. So what do you think, Kat?
I mean, depends why you went viral, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you're young and you go viral for something stupid, some people can get really depressed and do stupid things. But if you're older, you shouldn't care.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I think somebody sent me something somewhere, and I have all my screens minimized, so I'm not seeing everything. So I'll distract myself for a minute and go look. If you want me to interact, the way I've got everything set up now, guys, unfortunately, if you want me to interact, you're gonna have to super chat it, because I just can't focus on the chat the way I used to. The way the setup is now, I'm refining it. Eventually, we'll probably get back there, but right now I just can't. I can't do that without like physically stopping, like I just did, and going over. So anyway, yeah. So it's an interesting. I think it's an interesting deal. The whole viral phenomenon, and again, we started out the show with talking about Grace, and her entire persona is all false. I mean, I don't believe any of it. Like, I don't believe anything she says. Literally, I just don't sense there's anything that she puts on camera that has any bearing in reality. So, it's just the way it is. So, it's I think it would be really cool, but I don't have I don't know. I don't know. I think it'd be really cool to actually be kind of like be like Grace, but I can't do that. I hit the wrong button. Viking Paradigm, everyone forgets one-hit wonders don't last. That's very true. And I think that it's what's the word I'm looking for here? I don't know what authentic, maybe real, organic. I think it's organic. Organic growth, I think, is much better. I think that, and I think that just people that do the same thing every day, that talk about the same thing every day, and all of that, I think that they can, um, they're real. They really feel that way. That's why I like Andrew. Andrew is like real. I like Brian. Brian, I think, really believes what he says. I don't think now I think Brian is very guarded. Like, I don't think that you can ever see deeply into him. But Andrew's much more, fuck you, this is what I believe, and it doesn't matter. So I would not be surprised to see, and maybe not Grace herself, but the people like Grace that are out there that are just constantly trying to go viral. I'm never surprised to see them on OnlyFans or hear about them on OnlyFans, since I don't actually have OnlyFans and I don't watch OnlyFans. I don't know anything. Quite honestly, I don't have any point of reference for OnlyFans other than seeing them on the internet on whatever, and Andrew's show and people making fun of them. That's my only isn't that great? My only reference for OnlyFans is people making fun of them on the internet for being horrible people. That's such a great thing.
That's my reference for most musicians and celebrities too.
Is it really? Interesting.
I didn't know what a Drake was until people started making fun of him on the internet.
A Drake is a duck.
Probably. I was wrong.
You didn't know that?
Oh.
Mallards, Drakes. How do people not know simple things like this? Did you not go to school?
I guess not. I met the musician, but same.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I got 10 more minutes. Does anyone want to ask a question that's like, I don't know, controversial?
Controversial. Controversial. Yeah, I don't have anything right off the top of my head. Everything is pretty cut and dry to me. I don't actually see controversy too much. Now that school's out, what are kids doing for summer? What do you think kids should do for summer? What's your kid doing for summer?
I was thinking of like setting up a sweatshop situation at home and getting her to do paintings so that we can sell on the internet.
I like where your head's at. It's a growth industry. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. My son's been mowing the yard. He's a landscaper right now. And so he's doing that. And he only has 2 weeks of free time during the summer. Otherwise, he's either at camp, going to camp, or coming back from camp. He's doing like space camp, which it's not space camp. It's like an aviation week at space camp down in Huntsville. He's going to Northern Tier in Canada to go canoeing for like 15 days in the furthest reaches of fucking Canada too. I mean, it's so far out that the only way to get to them is long range helicopter. There are no roads. You're not getting there. Dog sled isn't making it. Like, you're gonna have to helicopter out. And so he's doing that. He's doing a bunch of shit this summer is the summer of my boy. And then the little guy, of course, he's I don't know if we're gonna keep him in preschool. I don't like his preschool. I think I've mentioned that before. They're less woke than they were. I think maybe they got rid of some of the woke people, but it still feels pretty woke. And I don't know. It's kind of kind of dumb, kind of fucked up. The but it's a yeah, I'm kind of weird. So that's that. I'm not going to set up a sweatshop though. Although I have been, it has been suggested to me heavily to have Grid One gear to do a grift shop, much like Andrew does, so that I can grift from my fans and be accused of grifting later on. So I don't know how to set that up. I'll have to look into that, do some research. So that's something. And yeah, that's kind of my summer. And doing this is going to working on my airplanes and doing this. This is what I've got to do this summer. So I have been working on my airplanes. My airplanes are actually getting one of them's really pretty close to done. It just needs to stop raining for a little while so I can paint it, and then it'll be great. The reason the rain is a problem is because this particular type of paint is moisture cure, which means the higher the humidity is in the air, the faster it cures, and that's a problem because it takes time to paint an airplane. So it need a little bit of time. Right now, like it would, that with the temperature and the humidity where it's at, I'd have an hour and a half working time between coats, which is not enough. So I think that I like that it seems like so much of America, at least, is kind of going back to not the old ways, but they're doing things like I hear more people than ever are, going and helping on their, relatives' farms, or they're, going and helping to do, remodel buildings. And it's like a lot more people. It seems like probably because of the way the economy is, it just seems like that there's more people than ever that are just putting themselves out there on a regular basis to do manual work or to contribute to something, besides sitting on the couch all summer. So that's awesome. I think that's great. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So what else is going on, Kat? You're laughing over there. There's got to be something going on.
Well, I was just thinking, if I become monetized one day, I want to do demon merch for everyone. It amuses me.
Demon merch. What are we talking here, Kat? What kind of demon merch?
Like, it's not mental illness, it's demons. I'll come up with something better. Give me a chance. I have time.
Chemtrails.
Yeah, chemtrails are real.
It's not the
Grid
smoke inhalation. It's not the candles. It's the smoke inhalation. Do you keep holy water around the house, Kat?
It's funny that you asked that, because I
Is that what the fish tanks are? Or are the fish tanks holy water?
No, but
it's okay.
No, but that's funny. Put some in there.
You didn't finish the holy water thing. You just kind of stopped in the middle.
Yeah, I have some.
You do have holy water.
Yeah. I bought some from the St. Augustine's Cathedral, whatever. It's really pretty.
Was it in their vampire display or over on the werewolf side?
I didn't see any of those.
Okay, I was just curious. So hold on. Just give me a minute. Vampires, Kat?
I didn't say vampires.
I'm just asking you to vampires.
I didn't say I believe.
Where do you stand on vampires, Kat?
I mean, I think there's energy vampires, people who drain your energy.
Soul
could
Sucker
say that.
2000s.
We could say that, like energy vampires. I'm okay with that.
How about transmutation, like werewolves, werepig, whatever?
Man, bear, pig.
Man, bear, pig? Yeah.
Mm.
What about that?
I mean, maybe with genetic, like engineering, whatever, CRISPR, they could probably do it.
Interesting.
I'm sure they've done it.
Do you have a revolver with silver bullets under your desk?
No.
You keep it,
but it's an idea for sure.
That's very funny.
I mean, I did go through like a silver phase where I wanted to buy a bunch of silver just in case.
Okay. Colloidal silver, so you can just throw it in the air to.
I used to take that, yeah.
Choke the spirits out.
Sure.
This is quite entertaining.
I did hear that during the Black Plague, they said, this is a theory, that the wealthy people didn't get it because they ate using silverware, and the silver is antimicrobial, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how truthful that is. It's probably just because they weren't around the fleas. But hey.
I've got one for you. I did not get the C-19. Not even one time.
Same.
My wife got it.
Oh.
My son got it.
Oh.
My parents-in-law got it. It never got it. Never touched me.
Yeah. No, we did not get it. My husband and my kid and I, we did not get it. My mom is a nurse, so she got it. Her husband said not to get it and to quit the job, but she's like, no, it's fine. She got it. My brother got it. My sister, who's also into conspiracies, did not get it.
Yeah, so I never wore a face covering that I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I never really did anything special beyond what I normally do. My wife got it because she had. So there's an interesting deal when. See, I'm not the only one that forgets to silence their phone, guys. See that? Did you hear?
That's my alarm to go pick up my kid.
Oh, you got to go?
Yeah.
You got half an hour or whatever.
No, I got to go now. Yeah.
You got to go now?
Yeah.
But I'm in the middle of something, Kat. All right. I'm going to talk to the chat then.
All right. I'll be on the chat later.
Sure you will. Sure you will. I'm going to shut down probably at 2 or 2:30, like normal. Even though I don't have to go. So.
All righty.
All right. See you, Kat. Chat. Say goodbye to Kat. Kat will be back. Kat will always be back. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing. Somebody's beeping in here. I gotta minimize my screen. What is going on here? Okay. Interesting. Okay. I got some stuff. I got some clips. Some of you guys have sent me some stuff. That's cool. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'll look at it. I'll look at it a little later. Wow, the viewership has dropped without Kat. I'm kidding. That's just the Simps. The Simps have gone. The Simps are out being Simps. It's okay. All right, guys. So where do we go from here? Now that Kat's not here. Anybody? I'm paying attention to the chat now, so you guys should, if you want to say something, you should say something. I need to shave is what I need to do. I always like it that I have chats coming through from Twitter or X and Twitch. Nobody ever actually, I don't think that anyone actually watches on Twitch. I just get random messages. Yeah, now that Kat's not here, let's talk about Kat. No, Kat. The only thing I can say about Kat is, she needs to speak up a little bit more. And other than that, everything she does a really good job. We need some new conspiracies. We do. Shave my arms. I have really fine arm hair. I don't know if you can see that. I don't know. I have very fine arm hair. Is what it is. Trump being convicted on 34 charges. Well, was there ever a doubt that he was not going to be convicted? This is actually a good question. Project VO, why don't you jump up here? Let me give you a link. Let me give you a link because I want to talk about this. This will be good. We can't go too deep into it because reasons, but we're gonna skim this off. Let me I guess the real question would be, would anybody actually, does anyone think that I'm even the least little bit surprised? There is a reason why I never talked about any of the court proceedings. There's a reason I never talked about any of the any of it, because there was never a doubt in my mind that he was going to be convicted. There was just never a doubt. So it just didn't make any difference, right? Like, so what I think is what I think is that at the end of the day, Trump's going to win on appeal. They know that he's going to win on appeal. The question is what happens in between, and what legal maneuvers Trump is going to be able to accomplish in that time as well. And I think that he has really smart guys. Of course, obviously, the opposition has really smart guys as well. So who knows, right? Like in my mind, I personally think that I think Trump has I think he has a tough road, and only because he has to, only because Trump has to come back from this, which he's going to do. Look, he's going to win on appeal. There's just no, I mean, there's just no way he can't. So that guy, Ken, I think is the guy that was the plant from yesterday in Glenn's pod. If somebody has a screenshot or a picture, I have a screenshot of the guy who was just passing by and jumped into our stream yesterday. So, I would, if you have a picture of that Ken guy, I think that would be great to have, because I can have some fun with that. What's my reaction on H3 podcast going woke and shitting on Brian, calling him a bitch? Andrew said he will still debate them. What will you do too? I might debate him. I don't know who H3 is. We got a link. Somebody get the mods a link. That way they can send it to me. I don't know who H3 is. Never heard of that guy. Angel, that's a really great point. So you guys don't know this, but my parents-in-law live with me. I don't want them to. I would much prefer that they don't. But I feel like that it does help, right? And I think that most people can, if they're honest with themselves, they can see the benefit to having parents, grandparents, sometimes even great grandparents living under the same roof or in very close proximity as a family unit. So my parents-in-law live with my wife and I. When my first son was born, they showed up the day before he was born, and they left my house 5 years later. As a man, that was a hard thing to deal with. However, it did help. It did allow us to do things that we really should not have been able to do otherwise. And in it, other than some grandparenty kind of things that I think anyone would expect, I think it does work. And I do think that it, my wife and I may not have made it through that period of time if it hadn't been for my mother-in-law taking my side, even though we don't speak the same language. Even my mother-in-law took my side in a lot of things where my wife was being silly. So, okay. I don't know what that's about. If I had somebody to actually get me some news, because I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I really I get stuff fed to me by people that I know and trust, and other than that, I don't pay attention. So if somebody would actually feed me news articles and give me enough time to read them and form an opinion, I would do that. Or I could do it raw. I could do it cold. So H3 is Ethan. He is liberal, beta male who has been destroyed by others. He's a weak man from a wealthy family with a platform. Sounds like a guy that has nothing to lose and is probably tough to beat because he just doesn't give a fuck. So, that's it. Yeah. So Ghost 1978. I'm talking about the Ken guy. His name in the back of so in the you guys couldn't see it in the private chat, but for the stream, this guy Ken asked Grace to be on his stream. It's the guy that came on that kind of came at me and was talking about that was past my prime, and he could easily kick my ass and all that kind of shit and whatever. And he kind of came at me a little bit and was, I guess, probably trying to get some clips for Grace. But it didn't kind of work out in his favor. So that would be, but if somebody's got a picture of that guy, I have a picture from the stream, and we can overlay those and have some fun with that because guy was a plant. Plants need to be exposed in the sunlight. So, so guys, I'm scheduled to have a guest on Wednesday who is a very conservative radio host from California, which is incongruent. So I really want everybody to be on Wednesday night. He's supposed to be on Wednesday night. We're still kind of firming things up. Hopefully, that's good. He paid for Grace to come see him. What a fucking loser! Somebody, that Ricky Bobby guy. Yeah, that was him. Ricky Bobby. If he fucking paid for Grace to come see him, what a fucking loser! What a piece of human trash! Jesus, please help this man. Baby Jesus, please help him. Ricky Bobby needs baby Jesus's help. Seriously, not even a fucking joke. So, he probably rented to her. That's for sure. I mean, I'm sure she's for rent. Hello, Serene. How are you? So, yeah. It's seriously. If that dude paid for Grace to come see him, what a joke. From Rhode Island to New York. And that's not far, though. See, he said he was in Florida. Is Grace not? So where is Grace now? Because wherever she was in the RV, it looked sunny and relatively warm. So, Where's Grace? This is all weird. Serene, I am doing very well today. It's been a great day so far. Having a good time today. Nick, good. We'll see you later, buddy. You have a great rest of your day, man. Have a great rest of your day. I lost my train of thought completely. Got to reboot. Sorry, guys. I don't really want to give Grace any more airtime because it's just such a fucking loser thing. But it's more of a loser for somebody to pay money to meet up with someone like Grace Thorpe. I need a wingman. You want to jump on for a few minutes, Boulay? I'll send you a link. We'll have Boulay up here. Right. Yeah. Okay. This is good. Imagine paying to see Grace when most people, I think VP says he would, I think we can all agree that honestly, Grace would have to pay me to sit in a room with her. If you ever see me and Grace in the same room, it's either because it's a public event and I don't really have any choice in the matter, or she's paid me to be there. And I'm not cheap. Other people are cheap. I'm not cheap. So I'm gonna throw Mr. Boulay a link. We're gonna get Mr. Boulay in today for a few minutes. We'll talk some money here in a minute. We'll get into some money stuff. I like money. Everybody likes money. And yeah, it'll be good. Is Grace blonde? Who the fuck knows, man? That chick's so fake. Her haircut, she could be a dude and we wouldn't fucking know. It's just nothing real about her. So sorry, I gotta fuck with my mic a minute. Sorry about that. Gotta reposition myself. Somebody earlier apparently said that I need Viking setup. I do. I need like all the screens. And what's weird is I have a screen on my wall right there that I could use, and I have a screen right there in front of me that I could use. And I have two more back over here from my simulator that I could use, but I just haven't done it. Mainly because I get too much glare in my glasses. Yeah, I agree with this. Yeah. No, Grace is trash. Just trash. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think she's just weird. She's a weird chick. So who cares? Mr. Boulay should be here any moment now. And we'll move on. We'll talk about some stuff. I haven't really talked about money much lately because if you've been paying attention, as I predicted, or as I didn't predict it, as I understood what would happen, money is flowing into the stock market in a bunch of different ways, and there's a reason for that. And the housing, as much as realtors would love to tell you that the housing market is super stable and it's never been a better time to buy and all this other shit, they're wrong. They're lying. They're fucking teeth. And they're just wrong. You can't, there's just nothing else about it. And the Siege D Glenn has the, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Glenn, Siege D Glenn's been on here. He was on here yesterday for a little while. So, but yeah, you can invite anybody, man. Yeah, I think Bricks is a paper tiger. I think that it's posturing more than anything, but I can't predict the future. Give me 1 sec. I will tell you because I have to remind myself. what the? Are you talking about the currency BRICS? Because nobody's even able to agree whether it is going to work yet or not. And I see this as kind of a Euro thing myself. I don't know. I could be wrong on this. I haven't honestly paid that much attention to it. Why do I always wear a cap indoors? Because I have not a whole lot of hair. I have some, but I don't have a lot. I always wear a hat. I've always worn a hat. So I can admit that. When it's brushed, it actually looks pretty good, but I don't usually. So I don't necessarily think BRICS is a paper tiger. I do believe it's like the euro. I think the biggest issue that we have right now, my opinion, is if what I would like to see is I'd like to see the U.S. pull back from the world stage quite a bit and not subsidize other countries. So what our problem really is not that some other countries changing their currency or going in together. The real problem is that we loan and give away and subsidize so many other countries. We have money flying out the door as fast as they can possibly do it. And this is really the problem. The fact that those countries, I mean, first of all, those countries all have their own currency. The fact that they join a currency, I don't know, helps them that much and could really potentially hurt them. You just look at what happened with Greece and the UK when they were involved in the euro, right? The Greece almost went fucking broke. I mean, they had riots in the street. So I don't see BRICS being a threat to the US so much as it's just another thing. What is a threat to the US is the fact that we keep funneling money fucking everywhere. And everywhere but here. Everybody gets money but us. And in my mind, that's a serious problem. Let's see. Podcaster Glenn, Rachel Wilson, and Jim Bowman. Oh, I'm not familiar with him. But yeah, sure, man. I'll have anybody on. I'll go on most people's podcasts. So this is correct, and this is why I do not pander to people like Grace. I've only ever had her on when Glenn was on, and that was in brief doses. I won't have her on my own channel. If I go on a panel with her on it, I can't do anything about that. Right. Again, so this is exactly like the euro. Do you remember the euro? What happened with the euro, right? And Greece and Italy and all of the other all of the smaller countries, when they I'm going to maximize this again, fellas. I'm sorry, but otherwise I get too much glare in my glasses. You guys, it's just terrible. So China is going to carry BRICS, just like mainland Europe carried, or actually the UK carried the euro to start with because Germany and France were in such bad shape. And then Germany and France restructured things to where basically they controlled how much the euro was worth and it benefited them. It didn't benefit the UK, Greece, Italy, Spain, Portugal. It didn't benefit those companies. So at the end of the day, it was just a terrible idea. Well, the euros was kind of a terrible idea, but it's fine, so yeah, and so the petrodollar is an interesting thing to talk about, but it's not that interesting to me. Trying to get your mic working. Did you get your mic working? Boulay, Mike, does your
Hello?
mic work? Yep, there you go.
1, 2,
Good.
3.
You're good.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Yeah, not fishing poles. Those are boomsticks. Those are really good. What's up, RIP? It is a good day. It's a great day. Russia runs BRICS. Resources speak, not the consumer.
Actually, I just read an article about BRICS recently that India is buying a butt ton of gold to help position himself to be stronger in the BRICS conglomerate, or whatever you want to call
I think
it.
everybody in BRICS is going to lose, but China. 101%.
Well, Russia is back on the gold standard, and they kind of had to.
Yeah, they had to, right? Because they didn't have
they
any
had no choice.
So the problem with Russia is that Putin doesn't really run the economy. Putin runs the military and the political machine. The criminal elements run the economy. And so you can argue somewhat successfully that they work together, but I don't believe that's the truth. I believe that as long as Putin stays out of the way and allows the syndicates or the oligarchs or however you want to refer to them to continue to run the country and run the resources and run the economics and finance, everything's going to be great. Which is why they had to go back to the gold standard, because criminals don't trust banks. They don't trust money on paper. They trust money that cannot be erased by the government. And so when you and I know I'm speaking in broad terms. I'm not saying that every single person in the Russian economical or Department of Economics is a criminal. I'm saying that by and large, Putin doesn't have anything to do with the Russian economy. I think it's a real joke to say so. I think it's funny, but I don't care about it either, because Russia's economy doesn't really have dick to do with us. We fuck them way harder than they fuck us. We can cut off the wheat exports, or the farm implement exports to Russia. We cut that shit off, and Russia's fucked. That Russia has serious problems economically. Well, that's a pipe dream there. Hang on, why are there two grid ones? That's funny.
What, like you and me?
Yeah, I guess so. Everybody's all right. We look the same. Let's see. Russia and China working together to try and farm resources from Siberia. Russia's never been able to do this successfully. Once you get out off of the steppes into the plains where the Mongols lived, which is Mongolia, which Russia claims is Russia, China claims is China, and Mongolia says is Mongolia. But they speak Russian there. Just can put that out there. They speak Russian. Once you get into those areas and then north to Siberia, I'm not 100% up on my Russian geography, but there's not a lot of arable land there. They have problems with water. They have problems with fertile soil. They have problems keeping animals alive out there for any length of time. So I don't know that they're going to get enough to benefit them from that. I think the interesting thing about it is if the real key is going to be Russia and China working together to supply China with oil. You guys are really looking at this, I think, from the wrong point of view. Russia has a lot of natural resources, and they have a lot of people that could get those resources. However, they lack technology, they lack organization, and they lack, honestly, the drive to go do it. China lacks lacks a lot of resources. And actually, I think that's a misnomer. Or that's a mistaken thought. I think China has a lot of resources, but they would rather use yours than theirs. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. They would rather work with Russia to drill Russian oil reserves and use their reserves than to even explore inner China, the Gobi. What the fuck? It's what's the other? It's towards Mongolia there. Is it all the Gobi there? My geography is weak.
Like Uzbekistan or Kazakhstan?
No, northern China, the backside there. It's Mongolia, Tibet, all that strip there, and then it's a big fucking desert. What desert is that's not? Is that the Gobi?
Yeah,
no, that's actually is it the Gobi? Oh, whatever. Fucking, it's a fucking desert. Okay. And China could go out there. China could go out there and drill for oil. They could. But why would they?
They own all that.
Why would they do that? They can just get the Russians to drill their oil, make a deal with them, and use theirs. And that's what the Chinese typically do. If you just look at what the Chinese do, they're not using their resources. They use your resources. Right? Why would they use their stuff up? They're just weird. Yeah, it was the Gobi Desert. I thought I was. Right. And so I think I really feel like that I'm not worried too much about BRICS right now, because I really think that what's going to end up happening is China will end up owning Russia, figuratively. India will end up absorbing, which is what India is only joining this to absorb a few of the smaller countries next to it. It needs them, right? And the smaller countries are fucked. The smaller countries are going to be Greece. Like literally, so what was it? 10 years into the Euro that Greece got fucked, and they had riots in the street and burning shit, and it was really terrible. I think it was 10 years, right? So let's see in 10 years what happens with BRICS. I don't see BRICS as anything more than the Euro. I don't see it as a threat to the US. I don't care about the exchange rate and all of that. I think, and the real thing is that the real problem with all of this, we'll get to this, Angel. I swear I'll come back to it. I don't want to. I swear to God, I'll get to that. But let me say something about China, because I've been there, I've walked around, I've seen it, done everything. The big problem with China is they think 100 years ahead. They built cities with nobody living in them, planning for the expansion. They dammed rivers that didn't need to be dammed to have water resources for the cities that they built that nobody lives in, that they're now starting to fill up. So when we as Americans typically are very short-sighted. We're looking 5 years, 10 years, maybe down the pipe. China's literally looking like 100 years down the road. They're like, we don't give a fuck.
They call it like the 100-year plan or something like that.
They always call it. Yeah, every year is a 100-year plan.
Yeah. Well, but no, it's a legitimate thing.
Yeah, no, that really happened, and I mean, it's still happening, right? Like, it's not like they quit. What's interesting is I think that in America, our perception as Americans is that China just built these cities and they're abandoned and nobody lives in them, and which is what would happen in America, right? We built them.
That's how they explain it to the public. Yeah, I mean, you see like the news people, they went over there and they see the high rises, and and supposed people who bought into them that can't move into their new condo. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it's all covered.
Yeah. There's they think very differently. And so they're definitely going to use other people's resources. but they're going to make China will end up making Russia its bitch. The problem with Russia is that Ukraine, and this is what Putin. This is why Putin's still in the war. The Ukraine provides something like 60% of the wheat to Russia. And there's this really interesting factoid. I don't want to get sucked down this wormhole, but there's a really interesting factoid that even with all of the men in the Ukraine supposedly having gone off to war and are dying and all of this, wheat production is not dropped at all. There's something weird.
Not in Russia and not in the Ukraine.
Right.
As far as I know.
How does this happen if all of your men are dying and all of them are at war and all of your women have fled the country? How does the wheat plant itself? See, Kat missed a good conspiracy theory. Kat, I hope you're listening. I got you. I've got a real conspiracy theory with facts, and we can prove it. So China is a starving bear due to their massive population depleting the agricultural land, combined with their massive industrial revolution that has ruined their environment. China right now leads the world in environmental technology. Their factories are so clean right now that we can't compare. Now, the ones that now I'm going to say the modern factories, they still have old shitty factories. I'm not saying all of them, but when last time I was in Beijing, and that was like 10 years ago, I actually that was something we looked at because I was doing some stuff over there, but they lead the world in clean technology. Now, whether or not they use it, that's a whole separate subject, right? Like we can't say that they're doing great things because they have a very lackadaisical approach, in my opinion, to backdating and requiring people to upgrade and all of that. Although, unlike here, if they just came out one day and said you've got to update your factory, they'd have to upgrade the factory. They'd shut it the fuck down. And when I was in Shenzhen, those factories are amazing. Like that whole city is really cool. It's kind of like old but new. It's really cool. And I think people, I'll give China a bad rap on a lot of things, but they do some things pretty okay. Not great, but pretty okay. It's a natural thing to dislike things that another culture does, which is fine. But for the most part, I don't really have that big a problem with the Chinese people. I have a problem with their Chinese government. So
yeah.
But
is there any credence to the environmental hack jobs? They're saying that China is like the #1 carbon emitter, emissions, bad people, whatever.
Oh, China?
Crap. Yeah.
So China, I don't know about carbon emissions, but they are probably without a doubt the largest trash emitter. And they have some really, really weird laws about how they could handle it. Like just really weird. And I don't know if that's being reformed or not. I don't know anything about that. I only know about the factory stuff because one of the plants that we were looking at doing. So we were at one point in time. This was how many years? Years ago, long time ago, probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, we were going to have signature or private label, whatever you want to call it. We'll call it private label engine parts made, rods, pistons, camshafts, some other hard parts. And we're going to have those made in Shenzhen, and we're going to have and also in that same city, they make turbochargers. We're going to private label some turbochargers. And you have to order X number of them and all this kind of stuff. The factories that I toured were cleaner, neater, better manned, and less and far more efficient than anything I toured in America. It was embarrassing, actually. It was embarrassing. The quality control facility was great. Everything's great. Now there's some caveats. We could get into that if we want to talk about it. If you want to do business in China, there's some things you really got to know. And because I married to a Chinese person, I had kind of a upper hand, whatever. And I toured these factories, and they were like cutting edge, nicest thing you've ever. Literally, like I toured factories in the U.S. first, and I toured factories in China. We ended up not doing any of it because I wanted them made here, but the price was too high, and the quality. There were concerns over quality of output and consistency. In China, I didn't have any quality. I really didn't have any question of quality and consistency. My real problem is that how many I'd have to order per unit, and some of the other commitments that I'd have to make. I just didn't want to do it because I was launching. I wasn't actually this wasn't established. It wasn't like I was ready to make a 100,000 part order.
Yeah, low volume.
I needed to order 1,000. They wanted me to order 10,000 or more. So.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to do that. That was a bad plan. So, but
no, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I live stream this to my channel? Is that okay with you?
Absolutely. Yeah, you should always do that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I should ask first, but thanks.
Nah, that's fine. Just do it. They don't execute people for running a stop sign. However, they do have mobile death squads. That is a real thing, and they will kill you for doing or for selling drugs. They will kill you for that, which is based. Let's see.
I got a couple of people coming over from my channel.
Cool. And what was the other thing? I kind of got interrupted. I had a train of thought going. Anyway, so we're doing business in China, and it was all right.
Yeah, you're talking about the factory wanted you to build like 10,000 pieces.
Yeah. It's just the number. The numbers in. Yeah. So I could do small quantities in the U.S., but I had concerns about quality and consistency. I didn't have those same concerns in the Chinese factory. However, the sheer number of pieces that I would have to order was like. It was, and it basically was kind of the same money.
Mm-hmm.
But 10,000 pieces is like, that's a lot. Anyway, so at the end of the day, their society, they run it their way. I don't really give a shit. I own property in China. So, yeah.
When they changed their the government sponsored bullion. They changed it from 1 troy ounce to 30 grams of silver, by the way. So you're not getting not that I don't know if that matters to people, but this is kind of my area. So they started that in hey, the folks in my chat, when did they switch over? It was at 2017, 2018. So if you buy it's the Silver Panda. If you buy, I mean, it's a good looking coin and all that stuff, but you're getting shorthanded about 1.5 grams of silver. So if that matters, I don't know, but
I mean, as long as you know, right? As long as you know going in. It's an interesting thing because China was the only place I've ever been where you could buy gold bars in a shopping mall.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, Mr. B. Rose. 2015. That's when they switched from 1 troy ounce to 30 grams. They're popular.
Angel Berber, once again. Angel, you make some really good comments. Maybe I ought to have you on the show. They have a massing aging population. This is the exact same problem that the U.S., China, Japan, and all industrialized nations have right now. It's not just China. It's everybody. We have the same problem.
Most of the
not enough younger people to take the reins of their massive society and all the technology in the world. It goes for us too. However, I'm going to add something here. Just like the U.S., China has maybe even a worse problem with the emasculation of young men. If you look, well, first of all, the amount of soy in their diet is nuts, just like in Japan. The second thing is they're raised by a bunch of women. And because the men are all off working, there are very few men that stay home. And in China, they have because of the demands from the wives, there's actually a culture in China where the men go to work, they work late, they get on, they leave their office, and then they go to bars for 3 or 4 hours to hide from their wives, so they come home late saying they've been at work all day, so the wife will not yell at them for coming home early and being lazy. This is a real thing. I actually witnessed that. I saw that while I was there. And these guys are and so these young men, the boys especially, are constantly around women who hate, who are just more and more bitter. Add to that for a long time, young girls were not favored under the one-child policy. So China has, I want to say it's like a 4-to-1 ratio, and it could be higher. It could be 6-to-1, male to female. That's backwards. You never want that. You want to have, you want to have it higher, right? Like 8-to-1. You need 8-to-1 is like a good ratio. 8 girls, 1 dude. That's a good ratio. But it's terrible in China right now, and Japan. Japan's the same way. India, Korea. A lot of those countries are the same way. It's really bad. It's really bad. Like without getting into world politics, I'm just saying about what I personally saw while I was there, and people I know. Like my wife has a cousin that I honestly thought was gay for a long time, because he was his first business, he launched a business when he was like 14 or 15 or something like that, when he was in junior high or high school, I guess. He launched a business in cosmetics. He was selling cosmetics at the local mall. He would have them made, and he sold them to the local cosmetic store in the local mall. So he was I guess he was a manufacturer at that point, or a trade. He had a company. Fucking cosmetics, dude. I'm talking lipstick and shit. Like, why? What? Seriously? Like, that blew my mind. It was crazy. But I honestly, for a long time, and now, of course, he's proven me wrong on that one. I don't think he's gay, but I think he's married now. But so it's the girl to guy ratio over there is crazy. Like, it's nuts. Like, there's too many guys for women. Clover, where is that for the US, or is that for the Asian nations? Sorry guys, I cannot pay attention to the chat. It moves too fast. I don't really have it maximized. I can barely focus in on it. Yeah, all of the things I've seen is that and China can mess with this, so I don't know. I don't know this is accurate, but the last thing I saw was that China has a huge problem having too many men and not enough women. Which is why they were exporting young men. It wasn't for a military advantage. It was because they needed to find wives. I can't read the chat anyway, Josie. I barely get a look at it. Anyway, so it's an interesting thing with it's an interesting point all around. But BRICS, we started off talking about BRICS, and I don't think BRICS is going to hurt us nearly as much as it hurts everybody else. That's interesting, Clover. That's interesting, Clover. I'll look into that. I'll ask my wife to look into that. She'll pull that up pretty easy.
There might be 1 to 2 folks in my community that might disagree with you about the impact of BRICS.
That's fine. I hope that I'm right. But I could be wrong. But I wasn't wrong about the euro. And the euro did exactly what I said it was going to do. The euro basically, it was a short-term solution. It gave France and Germany a chance to consolidate all of their debt, rewrite it. Both of those nations came out ahead of everybody else in the European, whatever the what did they call it? The European something.
EU, European Union.
EU, yeah. And they came out ahead of everybody. Britain got so pissed off about it, they did Brexit, right?
Yep.
Because they were the profitable country that everybody else fed off of, and solved France and Germany's problems. Greece was the worst hit. Greece actually had riots. They were burning things in the street, flipping over cars. It looked like Detroit there for a minute. And
Italy wasn't too far from Greece either, if I recall.
Italy was it. I don't know that Italy ever actually had massive riots, but they certainly had localized riots. And Italy had their own problems during that phase. Now it's stabilized a little more. The Eurozone, thank you. That's what I was trying to think of. BRICS is I see your guys saying that BRICS is like a nothing burger for us. Now, if I was Russia, I'd be really fucking concerned, because I think this is a plan by China to loot Russia. Is what I think. So, yeah. So, yeah. Anyway, guys. Yeah, I think. So anyway, I was asked about BRICS. That's my opinion on BRICS. I don't know that there's a. I don't know if there's a. For me, I'm not worried about BRICS. What I am concerned about, or what everyone should be concerned about right now, is what's going to happen in the housing market in the U.S., because the loans are getting more and more expensive, and the loans are getting far more expensive, and the home values are. We're having a larger and larger number of mortgages in negative equity. So if those two things right there have serious implications, older people like myself will remember what happens when that happens. And we should all be a little concerned about the current situation, because it's going to be, it could get bad. And just because I'm only getting snippets out of chat, I can't actually, because I've got my screen the way I have to set my screen up so I can see everything and minimize the glare. I don't actually get to see much of the chat. So if you 100% want to have something seen or read, and you don't want me to miss it, you're going to have to do it in a super chat or something that pops up a big, huge box. So, but yeah, so but the thing that everyone should be concerned about right now is what's going on in our housing market, because our housing market is going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts, and we can't do anything about it. So, there's no way we're not going to have a big problem. I mean, the last I looked, it was 32% of mortgages were negative equity.
That's probably
and that's rising, right? 30% is a lot. 30% is massive amount of negative equity in mortgages. If it gets to 40%, that nukes the market, man. That nukes the market. Like, you just cannot change. You can't get away from that. It just nukes it. So, there's a reality here we've got to face, guys. We've got to face the fact that that's my screen. We just have to face the facts. Yeah.
Oh, real quick, can I just say hi to everybody on my side?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead. I'm going to stop talking. I'll stop talking.
I just want to say, appreciate, it's been a while since they've seen any, content from me. So it's kind
Okay.
of unusual for them to see me either live stream or have anything on during the afternoon. So I just wanted to shout out to Mr. V Rose, to my partner in crime, Mr. Gen X, Coin Making Sense. How you doing, brother? Appreciate you being here, Jack, uh, Mr. V Rose, and I think I got everybody on my side of the house. So just thanks for letting me. Oh, and Yoke fan. It's been a while since I've seen him as well. So thanks for letting me shout out the folks on my side of the house. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm just doing while you were doing that, I was just looking for the percentage of negative equity mortgages.
Yeah. Oh, hey, question while you're doing that. So when a developer, buys an area of land or whatever to, build a suburb in, they go out and actually sign like, contracts or whatever with construction folks or whoever to actually build the homes, right? So whether or not they sell the lots or not, they're under contract to build a house on that lot, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the community, wait, let me make sure I warrant. Yeah, that way behind my house, they're building, 400,000 plus 2-story homes, and nobody's moving in. They just keep building them. So I was just curious about that. It's crazy.
So right now, the 4 biggest offenders for negative equity mortgages are Nevada at 40%, Arizona at 33% or 37%, California at 33%. That's right, California blows goats. And Colorado at 31% of mortgages in negative equity. That means that 30% of people who currently have a mortgage in those states cannot walk away from their house. They cannot sell it. They can't do anything with it. Clover Tack has sent me a super chat here, so let me throw that up there. He's gonna make me read this right here, right now. See that? But I only read that one because that's all I can see. There we go. Because it's big and it's green. Thank you for the couple of bucks there, man. And guys, hey, if you don't and as I always say, if you can't afford to, if you're really, because we do have people that are working their way back up the ladder, reach out to one of the mods and they'll get my attention, and maybe I can get whatever you feel is important enough to say on the screen. But right now, I think it's really important that everybody realize that at where we are financially in the country, right? Like, we have so many people that are upside down in mortgages. And we have so many people who cannot get out of any of their loans, right? Like, and what's really happened, and this is a result of 2020, 21, and 22, mostly late 20 and all of 21. And basically what happened is that everybody, we had the C-19 thing. Everybody was staying home. They weren't spending a lot of money. They had a lot of extra cash. Production was down on a lot of things. And so the values went up. The Nissan dealer didn't have more than 4 new cars on the lot there for like a long time.
Yeah.
Like, we all remember driving by dealerships and they were just empty, right? Because there weren't any new cars.
Now it's the opposite.
And so everything kind of went up, and people were like stupidly willing to pay this, right? Like, people were paying $30,000 over a sticker for a new truck. People were averaging $40,000 to $50,000 over asking for a house. You imagine paying $50,000 over asking for a house? That's nuts. I would never do that. I've never done that. And so if you are, if you're going to sell your house now and you overpaid for it to start with, and the overall trend in housing is down, your house is worth far less than you think it is. But you still have a mortgage, right? And this is how this math works out. So let's say that you have a house and you bought, and the other thing is that one of the other things that really fucked everybody was the first thing Biden did when he got into office was he, as promised, he undid the sorry, I'm getting page. Give me one sec. One of the first things that Biden did when he got into office was he undid a lot of the executive orders that Trump had put in place. And one of the most important ones that he did was he stopped. So Trump had put in controls on the banks that said that you first of all, you couldn't have a mortgage. If you already have one mortgage, you couldn't get another one without forming a corporation and doing it right. That was great because it stopped people from having 3 or 4 mortgages as just homeowners with nothing to really back that other than and I'll get into this a little further in just a second. One of the other things they did is they reduced the amounts that the banks were never really mandated to take a specific amount of down payment, but it became industry standard that you needed between 10 and 20% down. That helped control everything.
Yeah.
Biden he unwound all of it overnight. I literally had my banker call me and said, "Hey, if you still want to take out a mortgage on a rental property, that's cool. We can do that now. You can, as just a regular homeowner, you can go get a mortgage on a rental property. You couldn't do that under Trump's administration. They said, no, you can't do that. You had controls in place. So what ended up happening is everybody went out and went fucking nuts. And they were putting 1.5% to 3% down on very expensive houses that shouldn't have been that expensive to begin with. So now you're looking at, you got a 30-year mortgage that you were okay paying X amount with, but now the house isn't worth that much and the economy has kind of hit the shitter and you can't justify that house anymore. You need to downsize. You need to move into something else. So now you're upside down in the house. Now, if you go to sell your house today, you're going to, a house that you paid $800,000 for 5 years ago or 3 years ago that you bought, and we'll get to a couple other things in just a second. The house that you spent so much money for is now only worth $600,000 and you haven't paid any of the principal down. That's why 30%,
one or two home equity lines of credit.
Right. And I'm getting to that. Just give me a second.
Okay.
So the worst thing is, so that's bad, right? So now you're going to take a hit, but maybe you'll be okay, whatever. But wait, there's more. So a lot of times what people would do is they get into this mortgage and their house, when they buy the house in 2020, they paid $450,000 for it. I'm going to use myself as an example. I paid $415,000 for the house I live in. It's currently valued at $650,000. At some one point in time, it was valued at $750,000. So you go to the bank, and people were online telling people to fucking do this. This is how fucking stupid people really are. People are out there. You can still go find TikTok videos of people going out and saying, go buy a house, wait 3 months, it'll go up $100,000 in equity. You go out and you get pull 75% of the equity out of the house. That's $300,000. Go buy 2 more houses. What a dumb motherfucking thing to do. So now, not only have you eroded all the equity in the house, when the market retracts, which is what it's doing right now, you are upside down in every single property and you still have to make all those payments. Worse is that most of the loans have an early payoff clause in them that you can't pay them off early without a penalty. Worse than that is a lot. If they did if they actually put it through a business, which a lot of people are telling people to do, because in some states you have to. Other states there's tax advantages to doing that. When they would put it through a business, if you borrow money from a business to pay a personal loan, you get hit with taxes. You get hit with taxes on that because you're paying off your personal loan. You can't do that. It's mixing of funds, some other shit. Not supposed to do that. You will get taxed on it. You may not get taxed on it today or tomorrow, but you will get taxed on it. And then comes down the home equity line of credit for yourself because you charged up $40,000 on this credit card and $50,000 on this credit card and you're $30,000 upside down on your truck that you just paid for 2 years ago. And now you're fucked. You're truly fucked because now you got to go get a $150,000 loan on a house that you have, that you had equity in and now you don't. And now you're fucked and everybody's fucked. The entire economy is being fucked hardcore and everybody wants to blame BlackRock and all of these other companies. And I'm not saying they're innocent. They had their shit, they fucked everybody in a very specific way as well. BlackRock really fucked people hardcore. We could get into that too. But most of these people did it to themselves because they were counting on things that were never going to continue to happen. Paying $40,000 more for a vehicle than it's worth is retarded. And I can say that one time without getting in trouble from YouTube. It is dumb. Don't do that. And don't take advice. Don't even take financial advice from me. I'm dumb. Don't listen to me. Go verify it for yourself. Go do your own shit. But you can't do this. I've got a property right now that last month, I kid you not, a month and a half ago was $730,000 what I could have sold it for. I had an offer on the table for $725, whatever. My wife really wanted me to sell it, by the way. I didn't. So that today, if I want to sell that property, I think Redfin has it at $615. I've lost $120,000 worth of value in under 30 days just in a market movement. Now think about if I was trying to sell my house in that environment, right? And I have had a mortgage on it. I don't have a mortgage on that property at all. So I think that to ignore any of this is stupid. To lie to yourself about it is worse. So don't do that, yeah. Credit cards are an interesting deal. Because go ahead.
No, I was I could say I did at least one smart thing in my life. Just before the administration changed, I refinanced this house from a 30 to a 15-year mortgage.
Right.
And whatever the difference I had. So I had like, another maybe 17, 18 years left. It was 30 straight to 15. I actually saved a point, and for the last 2 years, I've been doing the little tricks, like round up your monthly mortgage and then pay an extra mortgage at the end of the year, things like that. So I'm shaving the 15 down to like 10-ish. So I'll have this thing paid off long before I retire. So at least I did one smart thing.
I really think that people don't understand the math of interest, and it's a shame that in our current education system we do not teach people anything really. We teach dumbasses is what we teach gender fucking therapy and shit. So here's the thing. I suggest anybody that's going to buy a house, go ahead and do it on a 30 or a 20, whatever whatever is the best deal you can get that day. The day you buy the house, the best deal you can get, buy it for that. Then you need to 2 years in, maybe 5, depending on, value, market, swings, that kind of thing. You got to and never try and call a market. Just do the best you can. You got to refinance that thing into a 15. Mm-hmm. You have to. If you can refinance it into a 10 and stretch and reach that mortgage, you're better off. Every year you don't pay interest on a house is gold. It's literally like putting gold in your locker.
I mean that.
Right. Yeah. Because you don't understand 1 percentage point, right? So if you go, and here's the thing, you can buy down interest with going from a 10 to a 15. And sometimes a whole point. 1 point of interest over 30 years is $100,000 on most homes. Not all of them, but most. I don't want to spend $100,000 in fucking interest. I would advise against that. I think that's bad. I think that's a bad plan. But refinance into a 15, pay a little extra every time you pay. Before you know it, it's paid off in 10 years and you own your fucking house.
That's what I'm doing.
That's pretty good. If you once you own your house, if you still continue to make the payment for the next 10 years, you got $200,000 in the bank. If you take that house payment and you put it in an index fund, in 15 years, you have $1 million in the bank. Or
for those in my community, you could take that mortgage payment and buy one of these a month.
Yeah, buy one of those a month.
Oh, by the way, really quick for the my side of the house, I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera, but for those, I finally got it. They know what I was looking for. This is the 1 ounce gold Queen's Beast. I finally got one, guys. So the folks in my community they know I've been searching and looking for this. So there you go. Finally got it. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to distract.
No, you're cool, man. I just feel like that, I think people, and here's the real thing, is I don't think that people should get a house as soon as they possibly can. I really don't. I think you have to be in the right place in life to buy a house. If you can't afford it, live in an apartment. And I just actually had this conversation with someone again the other day. I have this is like canned now. Like I have it down. Like, look. Find the cheapest apartment that you can stand to live in. Right? Sell everything that isn't necessary for your life. If you don't need 4 bedrooms, don't fucking have 4 bedrooms full of shit that you never touch. And simplify your life down, save up. Look, if you pay yourself if you go from a $1,500, if you were thinking you can afford a $1,500 or $1,800 mortgage, right? And you go find an $800 a month apartment. Probably not the best part of town, probably not even a nice apartment, probably a little more than a studio in today's society. You buy it, you find the cheapest apartment you can, and you take the other portion that you were going to pay for mortgage and you put that in the bank. In 24 months, you could have $24,000 to put down on a house, right? That's 10% of a $250,000 starter home. That's not bad. I mean, you just really have to have some discipline in life. We all have shit. We all spend a shit ton. Our consumer spending is out of control. I'm a gross offender. I spent on my credit card last year. We're not talking about my wife's credit card. We're not talking about the house credit cards. My credit card, I spent $103,000 last year. I paid it all off every month, so I didn't really pay any interest. I paid like $250 in interest last year. I'm a gross offender. Like I'm telling, I'm not sitting down on the ground as a guy living in a shed telling you to live like me. I'm literally telling you, don't be me, because I know what it's like. Don't fucking do it. Right?
Wait, aren't you streaming from a shed?
I am in a shed, but it's a nice shed. But I mean, I just gave a young man advice the other day. He's looking for a house. I told him to go. There was a 2-bedroom house. There's a 2-bedroom house not too far out of town, but it was out of town. He wanted to be in town. I said, why do you want to be in town? Why do you want to be in town? Well, no real reason. He just wants to be. Okay. He can go buy this 2-bedroom house for $800-900 a month, because I think it's 110 grand for the house. It's a great starter home. Remember when we used to use that term, starter home? It's a starter home.
Well, yeah.
It's a starter home. It's old. I think it was built in like 78 or 80, somewhere along in there. It's old. It's got some problems. It's not big. I think it's 1,200 square feet, something like that, 1,300 square feet, 2-bedroom, a bath, a kitchen. Right? Like, I think it's got a living room.
This is a starter home, but it's new construction. But still, it's starter home. Yeah.
So it's a little bit out of town. It's not a great, it's not close to anything. It's not down street from Walmart, whatever. I told him, just go buy this house. It's the same as you're paying for an apartment every month. Put it on a 30. Your payment's $950 a month all in, I think, $2,000 or $1,000 a month all in, something like that. It's cheaper than any rent he can get for a 2-bedroom. 2-bedroom here is $1,300 a month for rent. It's not a place that you're going to be. It's not a place where you're going to go show all your friends, right? Like, it's not. It's a starter home, right? It's his home, right? And it's on like it's like a 1/8 of an acre. It's a fucking postage stamp, right? Like, come on, it's a starter home. But I told him, I'm like, go do that, because you can afford that, and he's single, right? So he doesn't have kids, he doesn't have a wife, he doesn't have anybody that he needs to think about, well, this is not going to be nice, right? Or, it's a bad place for the kids to live or whatever. It's just him. Go live there. If you live there for 5 years, you'll have equity in that house.
Mm-hmm.
If you have equity in the house, when you sell it, you should have enough between, the recovery of your down payment and the equity. You should be able to buy a nicer house when you sell it. So it's really an interesting deal for young people these days. He had never even thought of that. He'd never considered it, because nobody teaches people anything anymore. Nobody wants to talk about this stuff. Everybody's always got some get rich quick, badass Wes Watson scheme.
Oh, I got to follow up on that.
Everybody's got some kind of scheme.
Yeah.
Or they're fucking stupid. They don't know what the fuck they're doing anyway. So
yeah.
Right. And people don't look at starter homes anymore. People don't look at town. Like, I lived in a townhouse for a long time.
I had
my
a condo.
Wife and I got married when my wife and I got married, before we bought our first house, we lived in a high-rise apartment, $600 a month in Denver. Live in a high-rise. I didn't own shit because it wouldn't fit in the fucking apartment. I didn't even own a bicycle because I lived in a fucking high-rise apartment.
Yeah.
But you know what I did is we saved a bunch of fucking money.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
And
my friend. No, please,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
My partner in crime, Mr. Genesis Collectibles, I think he's found a kindred spirit in you, Mr. Good One. He says, starter homes are just that. Starters, not ideal conditions or location. Problem is, many areas of the country, sellers of starters are asking non-starter prices.
Yeah. And you may have to move. Yeah. I told him that too. I told him, we were having a really good conversation. And I told him, he asked me, how did I do what I did? I said, well, I went where the fucking work was.
That's what I did. That's how I wound up here in Huntsville.
When I don't often talk about this, but and I'll talk about it. I'll have to talk about it more at some point. But I got out of college with a degree that I didn't need. I moved to Tahoe with a buddy of mine, where I was supposed to have a job, and it was good. It was a good year and a half spent out there between 98 and 99. I got back into the area. I didn't know anybody, didn't anything. So I just started working here locally, and I couldn't get ahead. The jobs that I was willing to do didn't pay enough, and the jobs that I wanted to do didn't exist here. So I moved to North Carolina. I lived it for the first 3 months. I lived in the shop that I worked at because they had a shower, and I just had a sleeping bag, and I just lived in the shop for the first 3 months. Then I got an apartment, and then I left that shop. I moved to California. That was my next stop. I was there for a few months, a few months. I worked for a different team, and then I just moved wherever the fucking work was because I needed to make money. And I needed to make money more than I needed to have a nice house, more than I needed a nice car, more than I needed a specific chick sucking my dick. More than anything else in the world, I needed to make money. And I told you, you've heard me say this before. I believe that once you're past the age of about 23 as a young man, you need to work on building yourself and building your career, building your expertise, building your life. And women, if you don't already have a woman in your life, you're probably not going to be able to, because they eat so much of your valuable time and effort during that period of your life where you need to be the guy. You need to be the guy at work that can work a 16-hour day. You need to be the guy at that can volunteer at church every fucking weekend. You need to be the guy that doesn't have an obligation to anyone but yourself to accomplish the goals that you need to accomplish until you're about 30. And by that point, you should have arrived. You should have everything in life sorted out. And then you can start looking for a woman, because now you should be in pretty good condition still. Maybe a few dings and scratches, but that's fine. But you can't, in that period of time, it's really terrible. Clover Tack, I saw that. Here's the thing: a good woman can add or subtract as long as they're before you have to start that, and they know what they're getting themselves into. In the middle of it, they will try and change you, and they will tell you that they will cause you no end of trouble in the middle. So they have to be there at the beginning, or they have to come in at the end. But in the middle, I firmly believe that women are a detraction at best, and they can absolutely. I can't tell you how many dudes work for me. The key word there, or the key period for me, is at 23 to about 30. I had so many young men work for me over the years that lost their jobs because they would get involved with these women. And I could always tell, and I've said this before, I could always tell when they were, because they get in the 18,000 fucking phone calls a day. At 5 o'clock, I'd say, hey man, do you want to make a couple? Yeah, I would literally go out. Hey man, you want to work a couple hours overtime? I'll pay you, I'll pay you double. Actually, I won't even pay you time and a half. I'll pay you double. I got to get this job done, whatever. And 10 minutes, that dude would be like, fuck yeah, I need the money. 10 minutes later, his phone would ring, and his woman would be on the other end of the line being like, where the fuck are you? You don't love me anymore. You don't care about me. I knew it was a mistake to date your dumbass, whatever they were saying. And I could hear this because they're fucking yelling through the phone at this poor guy who's just trying to make money, just trying to survive. And okay, maybe he is a dickhead. Maybe he's an asshole that doesn't treat her the best, but solve that when he's not working for me, right? Like, I don't want to hear this nonsense at my shop, right? Like, take that shit somewhere else. But go somewhere else and be rude to each other. That's fine. And so I would, and that's just my advice. I tell young men that all the time. I really feel that. Now I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying that as a general rule of thumb, there's a period of time where you should probably, if you're a man building a career, you should ignore women for a while. And not everybody does what I did, and I'm I did things in a weird way, so that skews my opinion. But I also, again, I used to watch this all the time in my shops, man. I used to they just it was terrible stuff.
Hey, Greg, run real quick. Rip, just to kind of follow up what you're talking about with
Yeah, man.
starter home and moving your way up.
Yeah.
He says here, bought my first house for 160K. 4 years later, sold it for 205K. Bought a 265K house with his wife, and he was able to put 40K down payment using the equity from the first home he sold. That's the way to do it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, that's good math. I always think of things in good math and bad math. I've said that many times. So
I think my partner in crime, Gen X Collectible, yeah, he's really gonna. Hey, yeah, everybody on my side of the house, please subscribe to the Unreasonable Man. He's gracious to let me come on here and kind of join him for his day shift live stream. So please like, share, and subscribe to his channel. This guy's a really awesome guy. Speaks his mind, and as he should, and as he will.
Before.
So please take that as it is. Hey, hey, Grid, if you don't mind, could you just take like a minute or two and just introduce yourself to my audience a little bit?
Oh, yeah, okay. Sorry, I didn't even think about that. So I'm retired. I'm 53 now. I retired when I was 45. I spent my entire life in the automotive industry, mostly in the racing side of it. All I really ever wanted to do was be involved in motorsports. I started as a lowly crew guy, carrying fuel jugs, changing tires, shit like that. I ended up owning a team. I owned several shops over the years, and just kind of worked out for me. I worked really, really hard, and I believe that men especially, you have to suffer for your art. And I think that if anything that comes easy is suspect, but welcome. And I did, I did all of that. I've been married for 19 years. I have 2 children. Only ever got married once. I'm only ever going to be married once. And, other than that, nowadays, all I really do is play with airplanes and guns. And I play with all the cool stuff. I still play with cars a little bit, not too much, because it's a slippery slope. I'll slide right back into the old ways. And mostly I play with airplanes, and I shoot a lot and do house stuff. So that's
tell them where your screen your
the Unreasonable Man
handle in Grid One Motorsports. No, well, that in Grid One Motorsports.
Grid One Motorsports is my company from a long time ago. Grid One, that we call the when you line up, that's the grid. Grid One is pole position. I always thought pole position sounded a little gay. And everybody else uses pole position as their team name. So I used Grid One as my team name, and it worked out for me for a long time. And so that did that. The Unreasonable Man comes from a quote from George Bernard Shaw's 1907 play of Men and Supermen, where he postulated that through hypergamy and eugenics, the best women would seek out the best men, and they would have super kids, and through eugenics, in over 100 years, they would all be supermen. Unfortunately, that didn't work, because here we are 200 years, almost 200 years later, or 130 years later, I guess. And we are still stupid. So it is what it is. Shaw was a socialist fuck, but he did say some cool things every once in a while. And the coolest thing he said was this quote that I use, which is, "The reasonable man accepts the world for what it is and conforms. The unreasonable man forces the world to conform to him. And therefore, we all must be unreasonable men." Because everything that we're sold in life that is bad for us is sold as being reasonable. Reasonable tax increases, reasonable wages, reasonable standard of living, reasonable gun control. Everything's reasonable. We're all reasonable. So I'm not. I'm unreasonable. I don't accept any of it. It's all garbage. Fuck those guys. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of it. That's my origin story, I guess.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah, I hope that clarified things.
Yeah, no, some of the the folks on my side of the house, I think a couple of them I know they got a big kick out of that. I'm sure.
We must all be unreasonable men. The only way that anything gets done is for everyone to look around and say, "Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't agree with it." And maybe you have to suck it up, and maybe you just have to deal with it. But maybe not. Maybe what you find unreasonable needs to be changed. So that's my.
Yeah, I for folks, grid one side of the house, so to speak. I posted the link to Gen X Collectibles. Him and I became friends over the last couple of years through the coin and precious metal community, and he's retired, lives in Florida, and he was a global supply chain manager / procurement in his career, and he knows numbers. And if you're looking to whether you collect cars, comic books, coins, any collections of things that are have some value to it, he can help. You watch his videos, he can help you analyze what you have, help you catalog it, and figure out what your values are, your ROI. And then so he has some commentary about current issues and stuff like that. And him and we've collaborated a lot, and hopefully in the next couple of months when I get back up and running and he gets back up and running, we're going to start collaborating again. So Gen X Collectibles, really great guy. And then Coin Making Sense, he is guru when it comes to coin collecting. So if you got some old coins, that's not my area, but if you have some rare or old coins that you need help with, please subscribe to him, send him an email, and he'd be more than happy to help you figure out what you got and what what the options are for you. So thanks for letting me shout them out.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Angel Berber is exactly right. All evils appeal to reason. He leaves out the word first, to become acceptable. That's accurate. That's absolute fucking fact. It's reasonable for women to have sex whenever they want, so that's why we need birth control. It's totally reasonable. Totally reasonable, right?
What's that saying? Evil triumphs when good men do nothing, or something like that.
I'm sorry.
There's no, isn't there a saying? Evil triumphs when good men do nothing.
That's right.
Something like that.
Evil triumphs when good men.
I don't know if that's really
all that is required for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing and stand aside.
Yeah,
that's right. So,
and fortunately, we need more good men to stand up and do the right thing nowadays. For sure.
Yeah, I see. We got Wicked Wally coming in here. That's I caught his debate. I think he was debating maybe he was just arguing the other day. It was really good. And I see we've got some guys in here, man. We've got Teriyaki is back. and I got we got some really good guys in here, man. We got Speakeasy is in. Speakeasy is in the house. It was great to be on panel with you yesterday, man. It was great. Well, actually, the past couple of days, that was fun. I got to be honest with you. I really don't enjoy being on panel with Team Fatty. Team Fatty just says the same thing over and over and over and like, dude, I've already heard it. Stop saying the same thing.
I
I've already
didn't.
heard it.
Oh, I don't think I've caught him yet on a panel.
I was on panel with him yesterday, and I've been on a panel with him a couple of times, and it's always the same thing. He just basically says the same thing over and over. Speakeasy and I went at it the other night pretty well. I was going to take a shot at him last night, but it would have been a cheap shot, so I didn't do it. So, yeah. So, could have taken a cheap shot at the easy man last night, but I refrained. I held myself to a moral standard, but it would have been a good shot. So this we were on panel yesterday, and this woman, Lindsay, I guess her name was, she asked me what male role model movie star would I look up to. And I said, well, I don't actually look up to any movie stars because they're all fakes. I look up to real men. Gave an example. So, well, okay, what about just a fictional character? I'm like, okay, well, the Count of Monte Cristo. And I said that specifically because Speakeasy was there, and I was like, you know what? He's not going to get this. I'm going to have to go after him, and I didn't. And he, because the Count of Monte Cristo is falsely imprisoned for something he didn't do. And Escape with Speakeasy and I had a whole discussion on a panel for 3 hours the other night about false imprisonment, false accusations. And so the Monte Cristo thing was kind of, I was taking a little bit of a shot at Speakeasy, but I held back. I didn't go after him. So, I had to kind of tone it down a little bit. But I've actually really enjoyed being on the panels lately. Usually I'm
thanks for letting me.
Go ahead.
Thanks for letting me come on. Was it last night or night before? I mean,
yeah.
I didn't say much other than quoting
Are you having mic issues? Your mic seems to be fading in and out and kind of lagging.
Oh, the earbuds I have integrated my other mic. I broke the cable. I had a nice Yeti, so I gotta get a replacement cable.
Gotcha. It's kind of a weird fade in and out and lag thing. It's okay though. It's good. We can get it. So
no, I'll get my Yeti working, up and running next time.
Yeah. Well, we weren't even debating Speakeasy. It was just I just felt like taking a shot at you since we debated so long the night before. I just didn't because well, first of all, I was distracted by that plant that Grace brought in. So, but yeah, the thing is, I'd much rather have discussions than debates because debates, I kind of get really bloodthirsty in debates, man. I go for the kill. I'm there to win. We're not, I get too into them. So I decide not to do that.
Well,
Wiki Wally wins the internet today as CEO of Dad Bod Summer. I never want to see Team Fatty with a shirt off again. I second that motion. Can that motion carry? That motion carry? Okay, I think it carries. Somebody inform Fatty he is not to appear shirtless. It's been decreed. Man. I'm actually shocked that Teriyaki won the debate. He's the current reigning debate champ. I think it's just because he looks like Ellen DeGeneres and everybody voted for him because they thought they were voting for a girl. So,
but he does. He really does.
He does. So, yep. He must have his sound off because he should have responded by now to that one. Having arms is an advantage. That's true. That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, living in the Emerald Isle, he probably doesn't get a whole lot of sunshine, so he probably needs to take some vitamin D supplements, I'm sure.
He reminds me of that. What was that movie that all the teen girls watched a few years ago? Is about vampires that glowed in the dark or some shit.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Twilight Saga.
Yes. Yeah, Twilight. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's he looks like one of the vampires from Twilight in the sunlight. All glittery. So super white. He's the purest white of all white. Max Headroom. I love Max Headroom, man. Max Headroom's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So my whiteness is beautiful. If he was bald, he was in the movie Powder. He probably did he would have starred in Powder if he was born then. That was mean. I shouldn't have said that.
I was fortunate to be able to spend 2 weeks in Dublin. God, loved it there. 2 weeks in Dublin. Went to St. James's Gate and drank a fresh pint of Guinness right there at the brewery. Loved it. People super friendly, man. I mean, I could walk. I walked into any pub. I've even been to Temple Bar. I think Temple Bar. Yeah, it's supposed to be like the oldest pub in the world or something like that. But I could go anywhere, and all I have to do is just start speaking, and they look over like, "Oh, you from the colonies?" And you know what? I drank free that night.
I don't drink at all. Escape with Speakeasies. He didn't send me any money, but he says, give him dreads. He'd be like the twins on Matrix. That's right. He would be. The Merovingians. That's right. The Viking paradigm, I got to be honest with you. I thought that I didn't realize that your little logo, your avatar there, that's actually a picture of you. I thought it was a drawing of a suit with a skeleton in it. I thought that was like a skull character. I didn't realize that, but I saw it blown up the other day on his channel. That's actually him. That's a picture of him in the back of his head. I didn't realize that wasn't a macabre, whatever. I didn't realize it wasn't a cartoon. That's why I thought it was a cartoon. We got some tourist advice here. So
Yeah, good people there, but the problem with Temple Bar is that it's a rip off for drinks. They inflate their prices, and then most of the country. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm sure it was. It was. They turned into a tourist trap. But went in there, had a pint, bought the T-shirt, been there, done that. So.
Yeah, I saw the full size picture. I think it was I was watching your channel or something, or maybe not your channel. Maybe I saw it on I forget where I saw it, but it was like blown up full size, and I'm like, that's actually a picture of Viking Paradigm. But when I normally looked at it, it looked like a cartoon, like a macabre cartoon with like a skull and but it's not. That's actually Viking. It's very funny. Probably just me.
Honestly, I thought it was kind of how like Fresh and Fit, they kind of had the kind of like the animated kind of picture for their like thumbnails. I thought that's what Viking did. He kind of made it, in that style.
I thought it was just like a drawing for a thumbnail.
Yeah,
guys, I'm going to have to wrap up here in about 10 minutes. So if you're going to, say anything cool, we better say it. I've got to take my son to Clay's practice. We're going to go shoot some shotguns. And
sweet. I got
yeah,
it.
he took a third.
I got
He
it.
took a third in team
to work.
skeet. He took a third in team skeet this weekend, and he did really well in trap. Unfortunately, we had it was very wet weather. So, but
Yeah, I haven't found a place to shoot skeet down here in Huntsville yet. I think there is, but I just haven't
I'm
put
sure
much
there.
effort
Yeah,
in.
there's actually a range down near you
yeah.
somewhere. I have a buddy of mine
Yeah.
that used to work at Magpul that works at one of the defense contractors down there doing cool shit. And I need to go. I actually need to go down to Huntsville and hang out with him. So maybe I'll do that.
By the
Dots
way-
on pistols. Yes, please. The older I get, the more they make sense. I used to be against dots on pistols because they were unreliable. They broke. The batteries went dead. You can name all of the things. But even the least expensive dots now, I mean, I would swim with one. You know, like I wouldn't have any problem. Just the only problem I have with most of the dots on pistols these days is I have very specific preferences now, so I just stick to a few different ones that I like. Apparently, Anson Knowles, the Swan Creek range is good.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. It's not too far from Huntsville, so I know what he's talking about. Yeah, it's a public range, but they went in and cleaned it up, make it, so it looks good.
We'd be down the Talladega, Clover Tack, down the Talladega.
Oh yeah,
Talladega is like 45 minutes south of Huntsville.
Yeah. Well, if I do get into skeet or trap, I'll probably get like a CZ over under. I like the CZ.
That's what my son
stuff.
has. CZ.
I'm sorry. Oh, he does CZ? Okay.
He has a CZ. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be on the next. Yeah, great. On the trails right now. Have a good one. Catch on the next shift. Absolutely, guys. Absolutely. Just put a dot on a pistol and went out shooting it for the first time on Sunday morning. Tell you, I was much better with irons, but I only have one shooting. So I'm going to tell you something, Rip. Guaranteed 100%. If you practice with a red dot, you will be faster than you've ever thought you could be with irons. I'm just going to tell you that 100%. I practice with a red dot a lot, and I'll shoot local matches with a red dot. And then when I go shoot on game day, I'll shoot irons. But my irons, because you have to index so well out of the holster with the red dot to be fast with it, my index becomes so good to pick that dot up that when I go to iron sights, it's crazy fast.
What brand do you use? Fujicon or?
I mostly use Hollow Sun and Burris.
Okay. The ones that mount to the slide.
Yeah, I'm doing slide rides. Yep.
Yeah.
Rip. So during your practice, really concentrate, especially if you're coming from a holster, really concentrate on bringing the gun up the same and having your eye start to pick it up as you're coming up like this. So I don't know if I can do this without one, but when you're coming up, when your hands come together, your eyes need to be on target, and you don't bring your head down. Bring the gun up.
Bring it up to your eye. Yep.
Into your vision. Don't put your head down. And 407. That's a good one. Yeah, that's pretty good. But always bring the gun up, not your head down, and keep your and just concentrate on that same movement every time, and it'll come. I promise you it will. And don't worry about iron sights. Just pick up that dots. Yeah,
because I
pushing
went out
out
and bought
can't help. If you're used to that motion, I'm not. I come out and up, that's just the way I do it.
I bought a G19 Gen 4. Yeah, with the cutout to put a red dot, because I want to try that. So, because I figured it's probably a good connection between my aim points on my ARs and eyesight's getting a little, I don't know, getting old or whatever. I thought
Yeah.
maybe trying it on a pistol, maybe see what happens.
I prefer the green personally. Red's okay, but I prefer the green. And there are reasons for that, but just do whatever feels comfortable. It took me a little while to get used to the red dot, and it was there, and I fought it because it was one of those things where I was like, well, I don't need a stupid ass red dot. I've been shooting iron so long, but I'm just telling you, man, your performance with irons will be so much better after you get good with a red dot. I promise you. So
You find it difficult to transition between the two?
nope, not for me. I don't, and normally I wouldn't say this. Normally I don't talk about this because I'm shooting with people that they know how to shoot, they know what they're doing, or they don't 100% do not know what they're doing, and I can color their opinion in some specific way. I'm just talking about this because I'm just really trying to be helpful to this fellow who's I've been in that position where he's at. So it's a I don't know. I mean, the dot was tough. I'm a ribeye guy myself. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I had a Monte Cristo sandwich yesterday though, instead of a ribeye. So that was good. Didn't like that it was washed out in the desert. You're in Arizona or somewhere? I shot mine in Arizona. I didn't have any problems.
Oh, is he green versus red dot in color?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, like you, I'm assuming like you, grid. Down here we got the red clay, so I could see definitely why you want to go with a green.
I used the dot I used a crosshair circle from Holosun. That's that's my favorite one. And that's only really because I'm usually shooting really fast. So I really just need that circle on. Like I'm not even looking for the dot. I just have the circle on and I know my index is really good. Rip, I would say that the first thing I'd do is I'd work on developing an index. And the way that I would do that, I would read Brian Eno's book, Beyond Practical Shooting, and I would really internalize all of that. And then I would get a pellet pistol and I go walk out in the field and shoot dirt clods without looking at the sights, and just off of your index, right? Just pull the gun up and shoot, and pull the gun up and shoot, and pull the gun up and shoot, and just off of your index, do that, and that should help your overall accuracy improve quite a bit. But mostly I'd recommend getting the and get the audio book, Beyond Practical Shooting, and just listen to it in the car. It's fucking awesome.
I have to remember that. I don't have that book.
Wicked Wally, dude. This poor bastard, man. 1 minute the internet is stable, the next it isn't. Gonna make sure the modem isn't set to single mom. Man. Damn, son. Yeah. Yeah. I most of what I do is really centered towards shooting super fast and medium. Well, I say medium accurate, but at my last local match, just before I go, I'm gonna tell this little story, and then I'm probably gonna have to punch out. But
yeah,
so we had this stage where we're using a 5-stand kind of building there, which I normally shoot sporting clays out of, and I was shooting iron sights, not red dot that day. So you had some shotgun targets, which I was shooting 2 guns, so I didn't shoot those. You had some pistol paper. I did those. And then you had some rifle stuff. Apparently, they had these normally what are pistol targets. Those are supposed to be rifle targets, but I shot them with a pistol, and I got them all. I cleaned them. But I did, and everybody's like, well, you got them all. I'm like, well, of course I did. I was, I'm aiming at them. And they were pretty good shots. They were probably 30 or 40 yard pistol shots at speed on IPSC targets, USPSA targets. And I just, my index, it's just, you've got to, competition will make you better. It will make you a lot better. It will help you out a lot. Even if you don't perform at the sharp end of the stick, just going out and manipulating the gun in actual, like the way that you would manipulate it is by far the greatest thing you can do. You just go pay your $15 or $20, whatever the entry fee is. Understand the range commands and go do it. You will have a great time. You're going to learn how to manipulate that weapon. You're going to get more drawing out of your holster and where you actually, draw fire and you're not just sitting behind a bench. Right. And so go do a competition. Go, it doesn't matter. USPSA,
IDPA.
Go shoot IDPA if you want a new religion and a nice fishing vest. But
I do
USPSA, PCSL, any of those, 3-gun. I like 3-gun.
Challenge.
I think everybody should shoot 3-gun. Most 3-gun matches now do 2-gun, which is rifle and pistol. Most people really need to work on their rifle work, and they just don't know it. They really, really don't think about it, and they need to. And I would, and as Clovertac says, you will meet excellent people.
Yes.
Excellent people.
Yes.
So I would, I strongly recommend that.
Yeah. Hey, if I can jump in, Rip, go to the USPSA.org. I think it's the website, U.S. Practical Shooting Association, USPSA, and then you can go in there and search on your state to see where they have monthly matches. And go. I'm serious. Go. It's trust me. Even if you're not ready to go, you're not ready to participate. Even go and just watch. And I'm telling you, probably within the first hour, you're going to be like, oh, I should have brought all my gear. But actually, that's really not a bad idea.
People gear all the time. I literally own people gear all the time. I absolutely do. I 100% will give people, I will send people the gear. I will or I will not send them the gear. I bring it all. I will give it to them or loan it to them while they're there at the range. I have ammo. I bring extra. I mean, when I go to a match, I don't know why I lost sound. Why did I lose sound?
No, I can hear you loud and clear.
You can hear me fine? Okay.
I can.
When I go to a match, I bring regardless of what kind of match it is, I bring at least 2 complete setups. I mean, from belt gear out. Like you don't need to, you can show up if I'm at a match you're at, you can pretty much show up with nothing and I can outfit you. So 100% belt, mag pouches, gun, ammo, all of it. And Clover, I may or may not have been beat with my own gear before. Yeah, absolutely, man. Sometimes that happens. So
yeah, Rip, I would say, if you don't have a quality belt, get a quality holster for whatever pistol you're going to decide to compete in. Get a quality holster. Don't get that Black Hawk thing with the lever. No, that's a piece of crap. Do not get those. Just get a nice quality Kydex holster. Get a couple of mag pouches and a couple extra magazines, and you can shoot what's called production division, where you just shoot a pistol you got right out of the gun shop. You don't need to tweak it. You don't need to put anything special. You just get it, plain Jane. Just use regular magazines and go. production division. It's yeah, and they actually USPSA actually created that class so that they can encourage people to get into competition shooting. You know, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to spend thousands of dollars to get a competition gun. No, go get just a Glock off the shelf or a Smith and Wesson M&P or a Sig or whatever you like. You just make sure you get a quality holster, some extra mags, some mag pouches, and go. I mean, trust. And the USPSA site is going to have the rules and things like that. And even got like how-to guides, how to get started, what you need for your first match, stuff like
watch
that.
some videos on YouTube. You'll get the range commands down pretty quick.
Yep, that's it.
All right, guys. I'm gonna call it a day. I actually have to take my kid to practice and do cool stuff. You guys have a great day. I'm going to end the stream. You're going to get redirected over to Speakeasy. He's going to live in like 3 or 4 minutes. So you have time enough to go get yourself another beverage, settle into your comfy chair, and do cool stuff and have some fun with.
Thanks for having me up. Thanks for having me up.
Have a great time. And for now, just